welcome back to another dice casting. As you can see, it's still sweating quite a bit, but that's fine, I suppose. We'll find out when I pour. Make sure to use the proper safety equipment, nitrile gloves, and a mask rated for fumes. M7502. Instead of popsicle sticks, I will be using a new mixer, because I am curious to see how well this does. Hopefully it does pretty well. Change of plans this time. Instead of alcohol ink, we're going to use some mica powder, since I haven't used that since my first ever dice casting. Alright, let's pick this nice blue. We're going to be pouring in 50 milliliters of A side into this mixing cup. Alright, now time for the B side. And that's 15 milliliters of B side. Time to add the two together, pouring the B side into the A side, since it will be much easier to mix. Alright, now that it's all poured in, it's time to use the mixer. And from this I can tell you, it's really good at what it does. Okay, so let's add in some blue powder and once again use the mixer to mix it all together. Alright, everything looks good, so let's start. Okay, the pigment's almost fully incorporated, so we can stop any time now. For this pour, I'm going to be doing an experiment. Instead of pouring directly from the container, I'm going to be pouring it into a thin dish in order to have the bubbles rise up and remove themselves before pouring it into the dice mold. See how well that does. What I mean should be made obvious here. The bubbles rise to the surface, pop them, and then using the dish as a funnel, I'm going to pour it into the dice mold. That's most of the resin poured, leaving a bit in the container for the lid. I did spray the coaster molds with isopropyl, but I forgot to spray the actual dice mold with it. So I do apologize to the two people that told me to do that. Next time. But this hopefully will work out fine. Let's give everything another spray with some isopropyl alcohol and let it sit for a while. Around 20 minutes later, I'm going to flip the lid over and seal in the dice. From this point on, we'll have to wait until tomorrow and see how they turn out. Welcome to tomorrow. Let's see how they turned out. Here's the actual dish that I allowed to just become a dish or a coaster. But here's the main thing, the dice. So let's see how it turned out. Okay, let's find a spot to peel open this lid. Fingers crossed for minimum bubbles. Let's go. Oh, there are bubbles, that's for sure, but it could have been worse, I guess. A solid covering of a flashing, though, I will say. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is pretty cool. Alright, let's pop these dice in. Alright, let's have a look. See how they turned out. There's some just line up the edge with the scissors and cut away. Remove all that excess flashing, and then you can paint in the numbers. I modified the mold in order to try to get rid of the voids. It worked, and now they have little prongs on the corners instead. Like I said before, there are some bubbles, but it's one of my better pours, I should say. I'm guessing I'm going to need an actual pressure pot if I want to fully remove all bubbles. For this, I'm going to be going with an orange. After squeezing some acrylic paint onto my palette, I'm going to be using a pipette to squirt a few drops of water in order to thin the paint. Doing this will allow the paint to flow into the grooves of the dice, which I could then wipe away the excess afterwards with a piece of paper towel, which you will see when I start inking. All you really have to do is just slather all of that color onto the face that you want to number. It will fill in bubbles if there are bubbles on the surface, so alright, with that the D12 is painted. Let's just skip ahead to when all the other dice are fully painted as well. New camera angle. You can also see how I was wiping away the paint from the numbers as well as the surface on a lot of them actually. So I kind of got fed up and just did a fairly lazy job at inking them, but that's fine, these are just my own dice. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.